Doghouse Podcast is back. Got a great return guest, Jay Hayes from the Religiously Kentucky Sports Podcast. How we doing today, Jay?
All right. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good.
Yeah, appreciate it. Jay was on last year, and we connected through the college huddle. So always great to have a great return guest. Well, as this pains me to bring it up, Georgia loses again to Alabama. I'm sure everybody's heard the numbers. Georgia's now 1-10. Kirby Smart is 1-7. You might as well just say, hey, Alabama owns him. Kalen DeBoer, 2-0 against him. It's kind of like I'm gonna quote my boy Uncle Lou off YouTube. He says, it's kind of like you got to pay taxes and die and lose to Alabama if you're a Georgia fan. So
yeah, Georgia hasn't lost to Bama though at home since like 2008, 9, something like that, right?
So, well, this is the first time we played them in 10 years. Yeah, that is one thing. We played them everywhere else. But, yeah, they actually blew us out in 2015, the year before Kirby, actually. But, yeah, that was Derrick Henry ran all over us in the rain. So,
yeah.
But it's just getting so close in all these games. It's just frustrating. So, if you just look at the overall numbers, the big one, of course, everybody's talking about is third down. Couldn't get off on third down. And you got to give it to Ty Simpson and them. He was just slicing, dicing. 13 of 19. I believe that was a record against Georgia. From what I heard, it was the first, I think that was the most third down conversions in over 30 years or something, which is crazy.
Wow.
And then Georgia ran for 227 yards and held Alabama to 0 points in the second half. So if you had told me before the game, or any Georgia fan, hey, we're going to run for over 200 and hold them to 0 points, Georgia should win that. But as always, Georgia just finds a way to lose it. Other big ones was Talon Taylor, true freshman, dropped wide open. He put a walked in. That was tough. You might be bringing him in cold off the bench. He was in that crazy environment. And then the fourth and one play in the fourth quarter is a lot of head scratching. They run Cash Jones around the end and probably one of your smaller backs. You had Josh McCray, 240-pound bell cow. Chauncey Bowens was having a game over 100 yards. So anyway, a lot of Georgia fans pointing at Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart on that one. And then got to give it to Alabama, just clean game. 0 turnovers. They haven't turned the ball over yet in this season, which is crazy. And usually they have a lot of penalties on Kalen DeBoer's team, and they had it clean. But you got to give it to them, got the win, and we just cannot get over the hump. So, Jay, being a neutral Kentucky fan, what was your thoughts on the game?
Georgia's young. That was my thought. Now, and Georgia's good. Georgia, it is what it is. But I predicted Georgia to win. So, but it's just one of those things, man. It's a young team, hungry team. Just it happens. I think Georgia's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's anything to worry about.
Yeah, it just hurts because you lose to them again. Yeah. Like that was the one first. My prediction first is like, hey, just if you gave me beat Alabama, we go 10-2, I'd be happy. Wasn't expecting 12-0, landscape college football, 10-2, see what happens. But I just really wanted that one because we had them at home. Got to give it to the crowd. 93,000. They had the LED lights on the wristbands. That place was loud. Just couldn't get it done to have our number. But never know. We got to go to Brian Diddy next year. You never know. Could run into him in the SEC championship game. But just frustrating as a Georgia fan. And I'm sure there's a lot of, just everybody's talking about Kirby can't get past Alabama. But, he's crazy number like 99-8 or whatever it is. And then there's 1-7. So anyway,
I had
to move on, but that did suck.
Back and forth to that game. So, I missed a lot. Saw some, missed a lot because I was back and forth to the Kentucky game. Probably should have just watched the Bama and Georgia game, to be honest with you.
Right. So Georgia will move on to Kentucky. We'll look at that here in a little bit. But, yeah, let's talk a little bit about – honestly, I didn't really watch much from you guys. I was all in on that one. But looks like 35-13 in Columbia, always tough place to play. I know you guys got a really good running back, Seth McGowan. You got a backup quarterback. So what was your thoughts about Kentucky? I know it took a loss to South Carolina. But
I know it's cliche, but Kentucky beat themselves once again, even though, and I give credit to South Carolina's defense. They look pretty good, but I think that was a lot of that was Kentucky's fault for making them look pretty decent. Quarterback Cutter Boley threw a couple interceptions, fumbled the ball, one for a touchdown, lost 2 fumbles, one for a touchdown. So you can't give up those points. I think they give up 21 points. You can't give up that and expect to beat anybody in the SEC. So I felt like I said, it's cliche, but I felt like Kentucky beat themselves. And Shane Beamer has absolutely owned Mark Stoops the last 4 years. But that was kind of the game. We came out strong and it just went away. Ran the ball good, didn't pass well. Defense played pretty decent, but our offense just shot ourselves in the foot. Cheddar Bob, it was what it is. I thought South Carolina was the more physical team. Hopefully Kentucky learned a little bit about who they are after that. They laid some hits. So hopefully Kentucky learned something, especially going on the road here this weekend.
Yeah, tough loss. Kentucky goes to 2-2.
Yeah.
Did want to ask of course, everybody won't know. Are you ready for a change, Mark? Smoking hot seat for Mark Stoops. Also, second question: any names out there? I know it's still early of candidates you would like, but your thoughts just where Kentucky is.
I think Mark Stoops is done. But I thought about it, and I'm okay with a change. Definitely want to change or a turnaround.
Right.
You get back to, because Mark Stoops has done some great things at Kentucky, and we got to get back to that, or we got to move on. So of course, the big name that everyone wants is John Summerall at Tulane, and then I've heard Will Stein at Oregon. A couple names like that, John Gruden, Kentucky fans, John, so, but yeah, just right now, and we'll probably not get any of those guys. But I don't know if Kentucky can afford to buy out Mark Stoops yet. So, we'll see. It's going to get interesting. If you don't get at least one SEC win, and looking at the remaining of the schedule, looks like that might be kind of rough to do. We do have Tennessee Tech on the schedule, so that might be a win left for Kentucky. But right now, it's not looking good. Some things got to change. And then I saw Kirby Smart today saying, hollering at BBN, so to speak, and saying, "Hey, man, give Mark Stoops a break. He's done great at Kentucky and this and that, and he, hard-nosed football." Well, we got to get back to that, because he hasn't done so in the last couple of years.
Right. Yeah, shameless plug. I actually said this to a friend, is I love him as a defensive coach. I would love, if you guys dump him, I'd love, and him and Kirby are friends, I love him as a DC at Georgia.
Yeah.
I said that name out there.
Well, Georgia came from Brad White, our DC, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So, and Mark Stoops is I don't know what's going on there. I don't know, he came into the season, I'm motivated, and why wasn't you last year in the 4-8 season, so I think fans have grown tired. And I think, with things with Calipari and the basketball side, Mark Stoops was one of those people that opened his mouth and said, this is a basketball school. Nothing wrong with saying that. Mark Stoops, and then spoke out about it, and that caused some things. And now here we are. If you're going to talk that, you got to walk that. And he hasn't walked it. So now it's not looking good for him. You got to go on the road and beat Georgia. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Completely agree. Do you think that's a little bit of maybe an Achilles for him, that you're not maybe got the funding, because, it's all about NIL these days, because, Kentucky gets more of the money on the basketball side, and that kind of hurts him a little bit? Or
I don't know. We see numbers come out, but we don't know if those numbers are real. You would think common sense says the bigger team, the more players, gets the most money, regardless of, the basketball got more money. I don't know if I buy that, but it could be. I mean, it could be Kentucky is a basketball school and it's hard to recruit football to Kentucky. Maybe it takes a big name to do that. I don't know. I've been a fan for a very long time, and it's just it's pretty. We've had some good years, and we've had some absolute terrible years. More terrible than good, but it is what it is. It's Kentucky football, and we want more. And because of Mark Stoops, so we give him credit. He gave us a couple 10-win seasons, and that okay. Well, we can. And now the college football landscape and has changed with NIL and transfer portal stuff. So now we're like, we want to get in on this. You look at Vandy, you look around the country, look at Indiana. We want to get in. So it's either put up or go hit the road. And that's how Kentucky fans are, man. I think last night his call-in radio show, I think he had 2 calls. BBN is not happy. Yeah. Which is a good thing because that shows that we care about our football program. So, that you could take that how it is, it shows that our fan base cares about football and not just basketball. So,
sure. I always felt like Will Levis was solid, but I always felt like you guys were a quarterback away. You'd always just have a
yeah. And I kind of feel like that's where we're at now. Now, Cutter Boley is young, redshirt freshman. So I kind of feel like we're there, but if you look at the track record, we haven't really ever had a quarterback at Kentucky. I mean, I'll even throw Will Levis in there because Will Levis had Wan'Dale Robinson, who did a lot for Kentucky, but Levis was tough. He probably is one of the best quarterbacks here recently under Stoops that we've seen, but I think he's missed on quarterbacks the last 6 or 7.
I'm going to outdate myself here, but is it Woodson back in the day was pretty solid, like mid-2000s?
Yep, Andre Woodson, yep.
Yeah, and I think you guys – was it –
Tim Couch. We had Tim Couch.
Tim Couch was great. Okay,
yeah. So we've had a few good years. Like I said, though, more bad than good, because we are a basketball school, and some fans are not happy with saying that, but because we want to compete in the SEC in football. Will that ever happen? I don't know. I mean, SEC fans around the country are probably saying no, probably you need to go to the MAC or the ACC or something, but Kentucky, we want to be part of it, especially in today's landscape of college football. So we want to get someone, if Mark Stoops can't do it, we want to get someone in here that can,
Right. We're in the opposite seat. Georgia is below average, pretty terrible in basketball. We did make the tournament first time in 10 years, got blasted by Gonzaga, but there's some stat that we haven't won a tournament, NCAA tournament game since like 2003, which is crazy. So we'll trade with you on that one. But yeah, I know how it is. Basketball season, I just get ready for football season. I'll follow them, but not expect much.
Right.
All right, we're going to look at the matchup this week. So it's Georgia coming off that bad loss to Alabama. Kentucky coming to town. 12 o'clock noon game. Hopefully they don't come out sleeping because Georgia's been infamous for starting slow, especially the last couple of years. 20-point spread. Kentucky comes to town. Weather should be great. What you looking to see this weekend? This is always a physical game, punching each other in the mouth.
So I'm looking at that graphic there. I mean, it's saying there's a chance for Kentucky. That's what it's saying to me. But it's all Kentucky's been knocking on Georgia's door for the last few years, minus maybe 1 year. Georgia blew the doors off the game, but it was a physical game. It's in the mud, like Kirby would say. But Kentucky's going to show up hungry and desperate. Georgia just played 2 tough games in Tennessee and Alabama, both really close, 3 points, I think, in both of them.
Right.
And Georgia has the home field, but Kentucky is desperate. Yeah. Kirby and Stoops are friends. Is Georgia the better team? Absolutely. And I'm not saying, but we've witnessed crazier things in college football. Now, I want to believe that Kentucky can come in and win. I doubt they will, but they will show up and hopefully be competitive. That's what I'm looking for. At least be another close game with Georgia, for Mark Stoops. Let's see some motivation. Let's see some toughness. Kentucky's always kind of prided itself on being tough and hard-nosed football, regardless of the outcome. So hopefully we show up. Hopefully this weekend some things go our way. We get a fumble, we get an interception. That's what I'm looking for. Do I think Kentucky can win? Absolutely. Do I think they will win? Probably not.
Yeah, definitely see that. I can see if Georgia starts out slow, some turnovers. You guys run the ball. Also, just the way you guys play on offense, you guys limit possessions.
Yep.
This was a dogfight last year. I mean, you guys had us on the ropes, and we had to gut it out 13-12, even though Kirby always says,
and
it's always tough in Lexington.
And a pick got called back. A pick. In Kentucky fans' eyes, it was a pick.
Right.
I think it actually hit the ground, but we'll keep that, and like, it was a pick. We should have beat Georgia. We'll hold on to that, because that's all we have.
Yeah. I just hope Georgia doesn't come out slow, and I kind of want to see Gunnar Stockton run the offense again. I want to maybe even see the Talon Taylor kid take some shots because I think he's going to be good. He's got nervous in there, and then continue with the running game because that was one of the positives from last week. Over 200 yards. Chauncey Bowen coming out party. You got Dwight Phillips, get him going again. Nate Frazier might be in the doghouse, literally off the fumble. And then also if we can get the wide receivers, there's too much talent not to be taking some shots. Noah Thomas on a milk carton somewhere. There's a reason why we got him from Texas A&M. Colby Young is emerging. Get London Humphreys going. Dylan Bell's had some glimpses. Also the tight ends, please. Supposedly one of the best tight end rooms that we do not use. So, and then secondary, can we get those guys going and not take any deep shots? So I just want to see a complete game. But Georgia hadn't covered all year. It's 20.5-point spread. I'm going to make my prediction. I'm going to say 31-17. Kentucky hangs around in the first half, and I think Georgia just got more talent, maybe gets a late touchdown, but I don't think they cover just because they have not covered recently. I'm going to go 31-17. Georgia should win, hopefully get out with no injuries. We got Auburn on the road next week.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. I think Kentucky will utilize their ends as well. We haven't seen her. I don't think anyone knows any names for Kentucky wide receivers because we haven't seen hardly any of them all year. Got a couple in there that we like, Harley Gilmore, Jamori Macklin. I mean, some guys that can go get it. We want to see it. The question is who's going to be the quarterback? Will it be Cutter Boley? He didn't cut it, on the road in the SEC against South Carolina. Will the experience of Zach Calzada come back in? I would think so. I mean, I think the fans want the experience, but they also want the Kentucky guy to come in and, and still continue to get those reps regardless if that's going to be how the season ends, but I think we see Zach Calzada, the experience. I like Kentucky's defense against Georgia's running game. That's going to be something to watch. I still think Georgia gets off and does but I think Kentucky's defense is overlooked quite a bit. So, I don't know if you watched Kentucky and Ole Miss, but Kentucky's defense is for real. Now, they've given up some too. So it'll be interesting to see if they show up. I like Kentucky's defense there. I think they'll utilize the tight ends. Who's going to be the quarterback? Hopefully it's the experienced quarterback. Either one hasn't really showed anything. So that's, and we're going to run the damn ball. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to run the ball. Got some good backs in Jason Patterson, Dante Dowdell, and Seth McGowan. So that's going to be interesting there. I'm pulling for an upset. Mm-hmm. Do I think it really? Probably not. I like your score, but I'm going to say 2017 Cats.
I like it. I like it pulling for the team. Yeah, I like that. I can definitely see it. I mean, this thing might be close. It's you guys giving us some problems have been really close.
Yeah.
And, turnovers and have some costly penalties, anything can happen.
Yeah, hopefully that goes our way this weekend, But I like Kirby Smart. I've never really had any beef with Georgia. Kentucky usually is like arguing with Tennessee and South Carolina and Florida, so it's a mutual respect there with Georgia. We know what Georgia is. So,
right. Gotcha. Yep. And then I always like to talk a little hot seat with everyone. So Sam Pittman just got fired over the weekend. Hugh Freeze is warming up. I know Mark Stoops there. So who do you think besides Sam Pittman might be
Billy
the next?
Napier.
Billy Napier might be the next victim. Who do you think?
Yeah, I think he's next. The Sam Pittman surprised me a little bit because we were kind of thinking that they would. We thought he was fired for sure, no doubt, but we were thinking that they would wait at least to the end of the season. They've given him a lot of time over the last couple of years. We thought he should been fired. And they've given him a lot of time. So evidently he's got some pull inside that athletic department. So we kind of thought that they would give him to the end of the year. So that was a little surprising. But yeah, Billy Napier, Mark Stoops, Freeze. I think that would probably be about it. So thinking that Kentucky better grab somebody up for they're all gone into the SEC, right? And
that's right.
That would be John Summerall, because I think he would most likely go somewhere other than Kentucky, somewhere that he could win a title, somewhere that he could go to the playoffs, because he's a great coach. But, does he have Kentucky ties? He played at Kentucky. That's it. So, if you want to, I don't know. It'd take a real dog to say, hey, I can take Kentucky to the playoffs. So hopefully we'll get one of those guys.
I'm going to throw a name there. You probably wouldn't want him because he's damn good. You wouldn't take like a Mike Gundy or anything coming off Oklahoma State, right?
No.
Yeah, the mullet. I'm a 40-year-old man.
Yeah, I think that 3 or 4 coaches have been fired around college football right now so far.
That's right. UCLA guy got it. Was it Foster? He was there 3 games. Man, that Nico thing, that keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then coming up really quick, so Vanderbilt, I'm throw a couple games. Vanderbilt out Alabama, that's game day. And then Miami, I believe they go to Florida State. What's your thoughts on those?
Miami might be the best team in the country.
I can see
maybe
that.
one of. And I'm going to Vandy. Why not Vandy? I hate it, but at the same time, it's like, when you're trying to tell your athletic director, like, we need somebody else. We need somebody. If Mark Stoops is not going to do it, then we need somebody. So it's like, look around. Vandy's doing it. So it would be good to see Vandy beat Alabama 2 years in a row.
That'd be Georgia's luck coming in high, beat Ty Simpson against the world, and then Vanderbilt comes there and be like, well, I mean, I would like it, but that'd be our luck. Like Vanderbilt beat them 2 straight. Georgia can't beat them. So that'd be our luck.
Yeah. And that's how it goes too. That's the talk, because that's sports math.
Yeah.
It
is. Yeah. And then with Miami, no ill will versus Carson Beck. I thought he would maybe struggle coming off the injury, but man, they look good. They're good in the trenches. They're good everywhere. So they're surprisingly. And then be interesting to see how Florida State recovers after that bad loss against Virginia. I think they got caught looking ahead.
Yeah.
Got caught a Friday night fist fight.
Yeah. I think that's what happened to Georgia. They were looking ahead to Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these noon games always scare me because I've seen them come out sleepy. Yeah. And then Georgia started so slow recently. I think they have a stat, SEC teams, they've given up like 35 points in the first 2 games in the first quarter, something like that.
Yeah.
Starting slow.
Yeah.
It's like they got to get their coffee, man.
Hey, the end game is what matters, really.
It is.
So, when you're Georgia, you can start slow. Now, if you're Kentucky, you can't start slow.
I got you.
So that's how it goes.
Right. All right, Jay. Hey, really appreciate you coming on again. And how do we follow you on social media?
I appreciate you having me. You can follow me on all social media at JHayesKY, everywhere: TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all over. And you can follow the podcast, or get the podcast rather, on any podcast platform: iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, really appreciate that. Check him out, iHeartRadio. I was listening to him on Spotify. Really great show. I love the sound bites that those guys have. always talking all sports, all things Kentucky. You can follow him on Twitter as well. And then I guess since you guys, it's your bread and butter. How's the Kentucky basketball team going to look this year coming up real quick?
National title.
Nice.
Of course, I'm going to say that, but I think we'll be one of probably 7 or 8 teams that can win the title.
Okay.
We're deep. It's the beginning. Next weekend we have the Big Blue Madness, which is the open practice where 22,000 fans go and watch practice. It's pretty cool. So we got that coming up. But yeah, we're deep, and of course it's for Kentucky fans in basketball. It's title or bust every year. That's just historically is how Kentucky basketball is. So we're excited. New coach, second year for Mark Pope. Looks like we have a great team so far. Until a game is played, you really don't know. You just hearsay. But I like the pieces that they have, and I'm looking forward to this year. Like I said, one of 7 or 8 teams that could possibly cut down the nets. So
that's awesome, man. I'm sure you guys are excited. How do you like the Calipari to Mark Pope transition so far?
Okay, I wasn't really on board with Cal leaving. I didn't want Cal. I wanted him to retire here, but it was time. But I wanted him to take, a different row at Kentucky, retire here. 15 years is a long time to be somewhere, but it was time for a change. Knew Mark Pope. I knew that he was a decent coach, smart guy, played at Kentucky. I was at UK then. So it took me a minute because I wasn't for sure about the hire. I was like, BYU, Utah State, you really, this is Kentucky. It took me a while to drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak. But after the first year, I was impressed. So, I'm bought in now and just full support and really want him to win a title here at least before Kentucky fans run a former player off, so.
It's great to hear. I'm sure you guys will do really well. You guys are always loaded and talented, and that's your sport. So, yeah, good luck to you. I just hope Georgia, maybe they can get their name on the tournament again and at least be competitive. That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah. You always have Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, how do you get him and you still go 16-16 and don't make that's a head scratcher.
Yeah,
but
hey, man, like some of the teams we had, man, it just doesn't work. That's the old formula, especially doesn't work now, in today's college landscape. So it's going to be interesting, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, really appreciate you coming on again today, Jay. Make sure to like, subscribe, share the Doghouse podcast. Hope it's a good game this weekend.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, man. Go Cats, and hopefully we just show up. Hopefully Kirby shows a little love and just doesn't beat the brakes off of us. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Appreciate it. Go Dogs. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. Appreciate you having me, man. Sorry I was late.
No, you're fine. It was just right for me. That's some other stuff going on. So, yeah, that's good.
Cool, man.
All right, I'll make sure and I'll post it and tag you and everything. Are you on Instagram at all, or
do what?
Are you on Instagram?